In Japan, they have the word kaitaku, which means to cultivate the wilderness. And that's exactly what my friends Mayu and Elliot are doing here in Okayama Prefecture. They are clearing the land and transforming this abandoned rice field into nature's playground. Hello everyone, so I'm here with my friends Elliot and Mayu, and I was first connected to them through bicycle touring. So you guys have done a very extensive, long bicycle touring trip. Can you describe a bit about that?
Yeah, we in 2015, I think, we cycled for around 3 years from South Africa to Japan.
All right. And how was your experience? Why did you do that?
A number of reasons. Wanted to meet local people, spend a lot of time outdoors, try something new that we've never done before. You know, kind of a challenge. Those kind of reasons.
Okay. And so you guys obviously enjoy camping and spending time outdoors, and does that connect to your current lifestyle here?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of a similar experience. Instead of moving around all the time, we stay in one spot.
So for a lot of foreigners in Japan, they're really interested in kominka or traditional Japanese houses. But you guys have done something completely different here, and you guys have bought your own land, and you cleared the land and planning to build your own place. Why?
We do as a job like renovating kominka, like old Japanese traditional houses, and so we know what it's like renovating old house. We wanted to be outside. We want to be a bit remote from people and doing more freely, building something more freely. What we want to build, like sustainable way, and then we wanted to have like a big place.
So do you think there's more freedom with this kind of choice?
Yeah, like for example, when we were choosing a place to camp while we were cycling, you would pick a place that like you knew was going to be shady when the sun comes up, like near a water source, was flat. You can kind of like choose your place, but if you're buying a house, then first of all, it needs to be in the location you want it to be. You know, you're not going to move an old house. I mean, you can, but it's a huge amount of work. And also just being out of a village, there's kind of more chances that, you know, you're going to have peace and quiet, and like you don't have to get along with the community if you're not forced to get along with the community. And you're just surrounded by, so many animals and birds and plants and trees, and I just think it's quite hard to find a kominka in that kind of location.
Yeah, definitely.
And big things we're looking for was the natural forest. Like Japan have lots of planted forest of cedar. So we wanted to have lots of diversity of nature.
So the more diverse the forest is, the more diverse the plants and the animals and insects and things like that.
So like I've spent a couple of nights camping here, and I've seen a lot of interesting insects and animals that I've never seen before. So I find that really, really fascinating.
So every day we see like not every day, but quite often like we see new things and hear new sounds as well. Like some nights we hear a new bird that we're like, oh, that's new. Like why have they turned up?
Well, so we live in Japan, which has distinct 4 seasons. How is it living through the 4 seasons here in Japan?
Yeah, like every day, like really finding new things. Like a new leaf comes up, like especially like spring, like new leaf comes up, and then some days later, a new flower comes up, and different insects start coming up, and some animal comes out from sleep from winter, and every day is quite new experience. And surrounding by nature, we feel so much more the seasons.
Like time is passing in a very kind of feels like a really obvious way, in a visual way. Like time.
Ah, yes.
Like I feel like before when I was not living in this kind of environment, time was like shown by a calendar. That was it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, like some days it was hot, some days it was cold, but really, like I would schedule my kind of, now it's May, because I look at my computer and it tells me it's May. But now I'm looking at the forest and be like, okay, this is what May looks like, kind of.
And see the moon, how it's changed, and see the color of like sunset and time and.
So like maybe next year I will see a certain plant or a flower and know what time of year it is by that, rather than.
That's definitely a very interesting perspective, because I think most people, like modern people, they live in concrete jungles and they're kind of shut off to the nature. So.
And
I
a friend was telling me that a lot of rice farmers, they plant sakura trees next to their rice fields, and then that tells them, okay, when the flowers start blooming, it's ready to seed.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a natural clock, because it's all about temperature, rather than you do it every year on the 31st of March. Like, that's a stupid idea, because it might be too cold or too hot. You've already missed your opportunity. Like, use a tree blooming in flower to tell you what time of year is the right time.
Yeah.
Kind of like. So yeah, that's the natural.
Yep.
It's like a natural clock, kind of.
Yeah. Now that you think about it, like calendars are really artificial.
Yeah, I mean they're close. Like,
Yeah.
they give you a rough idea, but they're not as accurate as the climate.
Yep.
In the spring, the first thing to kind of mark the first day of spring was a warm, rainy day, and all of the frogs came out of the forest, and they start mating and making loads of noise, and that's kind of like winter is over, guys.
All right, guys,
Kind of
it's time to get into action.
Yeah, and that was like really big event.
Wow.
It lasted
Yeah.
for like 3 days. There were just frogs everywhere, and
Wish
it
I
was
could
like,
be a frog.
yeah, it was just like,
That's crazy.
wow, yeah. And then a lot of like, there was some like ferrets around. They were eating all the frogs, and it was just like everyone like, okay,
It's chaos.
yeah, it's starting, kind of
Wow,
like.
yeah.
And then we were like, oh wow, because before that, the forest was dead quiet. There was a few owls, a few birds, but pretty much like silent.
Yeah.
And that day, like, kind of marked the kind of everyone wake up.
Everyone wake up. Yeah.
Back to normal, kind of.
It's really interesting. You guys must be finding like new things all the time, like opening all your senses up.
And it's really like a day-to-day kind of thing.
Very little difference and very little like discovery, but just quite big to us.
It's really like subtle, but kind of a big change almost, kind of.
Would you like to tell us about your setup here?
I mean, it was like a very cheap tent we bought from Yahoo auction, and some plywood, and then
All the wood from the down here, we cut it, and
I think this is
structure, so wood from surrounding.
it's cheap.
Yeah,
Maybe we spent like, the tent was like just over 1,000,000, and the rest of the materials were like 5,000 yen. So 1,500 yen for a home. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, can we take a look inside?
Yeah, of course.
And tell me, what do you have inside this tent?
Here is bedroom.
Got your bedroom.
We just sleep. We have a little like a bunk on the wood, so it's not moldy.
Nice flat bed,
It looks very comfy.
We cooking here. We have
kitchen.
little fridge, rice cooker. This is a solar system. We have a sink.
We have a sink. That was like a big step for us. Being able to, like, we heat water on where the shower is, and then we have like hot water at night time. In the winter, washing up with hot water is amazing.
And can you tell me a bit more about this battery that you have here?
It's just like a plug-in, like has like battery, MPPT charge controller. For any geeks out there that know about solar, you just basically plug it in and it works. It's very, very simple.
All right, so could you tell us about your solar panel here?
Yeah, we have about 700 watts of solar. We get about 6 hours a day of sun on the panels, and that's enough to keep enough for our electrical needs.
So it's enough for all your daily use.
It's enough when you limit your daily use to what you have.
And we using battery, chainsaw, battery, brush cutter, all the tool is pretty much everything battery. So we're charging up the battery with this as well.
Yeah.
All right, could you tell us about your toilet setup here?
Open.
It's open. Yeah. We have a few people that are too shy to go to the toilet, so it's very open. We don't mind that.
We definitely have a very open view. You get to...
Yeah, I kind of like it, and I've got used to over the years pooing in many locations, out in the open, so it really doesn't bother me. I mean, I've even pooed in front of people. I mean, yeah, while you're traveling, like it's just like there's some very curious people out there, and yeah, so I've got rid of my poo kind of, what's the word, embarrassment. Yeah.
Yeah, could you tell us about the setup? Like, how does this work?
It's a bucket. You poo in the bucket with this very. I mean, I made this in like 10 minutes. So yeah, and then we get komenuka and momigara, which is basically the rice husk and the rice bran, and yeah, you just mix them together, and then that just eliminates all the smell and this kind of thing. And then after the bucket is full, we put it into a compost heap, and that heats it up and destroys any like unwanted like parasitic worms or this kind of thing.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's definitely one of the most minimalistic toilets I've ever seen, and it comes with a great view. All right, so this shower setup is really fascinating. I've never seen anything like this before.
Neither have I.
What is it?
It is, so it's a very temporary, I mean, it's been here for 5 months, but it's a temporary solution to heat water. And it's a rocket stove, a J-style rocket stove. And we're just trying to do, if we can do it for very, very cheap, we will. So all of the materials, apart from a few bricks and a bit of perlite insulation, has come from within like 10-meter radius of this area. So we just pulled all of the rocks out of the river, the mud and momigara we mixed together from just here. And yeah, I just built it in like a day, and now we heat our water to take a shower.
So how does it work? You just burn some wood in it and...
Yeah, you just burn some wood in this part, and then the hot air rises, hits the bottom of the pot and heats the water. And then you just put the warm water in a bucket and then just bucket yourself. It's very simple.
Very minimalist, I like it. Yeah, so what are your future plans here? I heard you're building a tiny home.
So yeah, we're gonna build, just a small like 7-meter by 2.5-meter house we'll sleep and living will be like same area and kitchen, and then later we'll build another house that has like a shower and toilet and things like that, and like a lot of like decked areas, good to be off the ground, away from insects. Like there's quite a few ticks here, so the more you spend on the ground, the more you come in contact with that. So yeah, just kind of like, we didn't have this plan from the beginning, but the more you spend here, more time you spend here, the more you understand
What kind of house and
needs
how
to,
do you spend time as well.
So that's a good advice for anyone thinking to do this. Like, don't plan the whole thing before you arrive. Like, just get there, start living there, start feeling, you know, what is the right thing to be doing, what's a good place, like where gets a good amount of sun, you know, just clear a bunch of land and then just feel, you know, what feels good.
Really important to live in a tent, I think.
We think so, yeah.
All right. Thank you for your time today, Mayu and Elliot. This was a
Pleasure.
very inspiring talk about living with nature. So, thank you.
Yeah, man, pleasure.
Thank you.
I found it really fascinating how the bicycle touring experience of living out in nature and open camping is connected with their current lifestyle choices. If you want to follow their ventures, please check out their Instagram below. And if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.